Hello, 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 I'm Rangru.
And I'm Graham.
Here today with a 1v1 from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord Elite Tournament. We are in a bowl of punching, and who is punching it out, Graham?
So, on the left side of the ring here, Rang, in the blue trunks, we have Krot playing as NATO Mechanized. And then in the right corner of the ring, we have Greyhound playing as Dutch German Mechanized as they prepare to meet each other.
So some mech on mech gang action, pretty even Stevens in the tanks, and, well, I'd say NATO mech does have slightly better infantry, but it should be, for the most part, a pretty straight up brawl.
Yeah, it looks like both of these boxers here are kind of like eyeing each other, circling around here in the ring. No real jabs yet. So there's that F4F actually kind of up here. So we see Krot trying to establish, I think, a little bit of air supremacy to start. We might get the Puma, which has, I believe, no, it's not the commander. That's the what's in the Puma?
What's in
The
Commander Marine?
the Commander Marines. Yep, I was right. I should have stuck with it. So he's trying to snipe that really quick. He wants to go ahead and stop that, that push down in that town ring, which is just super common here on Punch Bowl.
Do they actually get any of these helicopters, Joe? Like, oh, he
No, I
got
don't.
one damage on the Fennec, one hit. Wow, that's
Yeah.
kind of bugged it up a bit because he was in a perfect position to at least shoot down one or two of those guys. But Greyhound is just gonna fly on by, get the commandos in, the Fennecs sniping another helicopter, and this is giving Greyhound time to reinforce into Delta.
Yeah, he wants to hold this position here, buy himself some time. It worked out perfectly for him, even though Krot did have the answer. Whereas we see in Bravo, the mechanized, infantry is kind of clashing with each other. A Challenger 1 goes down to a snipe there. I don't know if that was to a Milan 2 or the Leopard. I think it was a Milan.
It makes sense for it to be the Milan too, so very good pick-off. Yeah, of course, in this, Bravo fight, it's really going to come down to the tank staying alive to provide also important fire support.
Yeah, so that's a really nice pick there by Krot off the start, even though he wasn't able to kind of deal with that Delta push. But he doesn't seem too overly concerned about it just yet, because in these mechanized games, Rank, Bravo kind of feels like that's the place both players would want to throw down. Actually, Krot has nothing up north, like at all.
Yeah, he's just doing the classic strategy of abandon northern side and he's really going to have to run on Bravo because he is going to have to contest in Delta, which is always kind of a pain. So he's not going to be in the best map control spot, even if he does capture Bravo.
Yeah, and we don't see any reinforcements, Rain, going to Delta here for Krot. So Greyhound's going to get more infantry into this town here, some standoff infantry, it looks like. He's going to kind of be able to lock this down for at least the next few minutes. Obviously, I think if Krot really wants to take it back, he can. But he seems very focused on trying to wipe out Bravo right now, kind of pushing where he has momentum.
Yeah, Greyhound's in a great position just to hold the 7th side of Delta. It's a pretty easy thing to do. What's going on?
Alpha, recon helicopter just flew by Krot. I don't think he saw the CV in Alpha, but the Fennec 20 mil is trying to chase it down.
Yep. A little bit of mobile-based defense, yeah. Actually, quite funny. Manson does sneak a helicopter around like that. I believe, is the BO faster? No, the Fennec is faster.
No, the Fennec should eventually catch it, but instead, Greyhound's called out a second Mirage 2000, so he's going to go and try and kill it. I don't think his CV was spotted whatsoever. I think it skirted just past, Hawk even trying to get it. So he goes down there, the Mirages, but the two F4Fs here with the AMRAMs, they're trying to maybe hunt these French planes down, right?
Yeah, he could have a little bit of an air brawl here. One of the F4s diving off a bit. Mirages going in.
Hawk opens up. Critical hit right there by the Hawk down on the ground, getting the stun, but the other F4 cleans up both, and that's a big win for Krot in the air.
Yeah, managing to keep one of his planes alive, and that should now allow him to put some more pressure down south, maybe bringing up his F4s again to actually use those Sidewinders to blow up some of these Fennecs, because there's starting to be quite a decent amount of him.
You could also Kernas the infantry.
You could. You could blow them up with tactical, laser-guided, high explosives.
It's a tactical nuke.
Yeah. It feels like it.
Yeah, it does feel like it when you get hit by a Kernas. We do see, so Greyhound's pushing just around a little bit up north, kind of probing here. But the loss of the two Mirages is pretty big for the airplay moving forward between both players. And it could have been worse, actually, for for Greyhound. The Hawk came in with a clutch last missile strike into the F4 there. So big little moves there, though. If you look at look around the map here, Rang, Krot hasn't fully evicted Greyhound from Bravo, so it's not actually all bad right there. He still has that to hold.
Yeah, Greyhound's in a great position just to hold, really. I mean, it's mechanized. You don't have to do any crazy motorized gang flanking around nonsense.
Moto gang.
You just have to hold the line, brawl it out, and he has good presence in all three of the major flanks. He just has to hold.
Yeah, he just needs to hold his position, though. The AH-64 escort here coming up, Hydra rockets. This is obviously not Warno because his Commando Marines are still alive, but he's gonna go ahead and try and flush this out here. And that's a good move because there's no AA here, so Commando 90s are being deployed on the backside flank there, Rang. But that's a long-term play. The Fed at 20 mils are also chilling back there, which he probably could use to maybe deal with the Apache if he wanted to, though the Apache might win.
Yeah, this is going to be a critical time here for Krot to evict Greyhound out of Delta, or else seen some reinforcements slowly be brought around. I believe that Challenger 1 was heading to Delta. But yeah, with no anti-air, not even just a manpad team, this escort and other infantry should be able to clear this up.
Yeah, he's bringing more reinforcements. We see multiple, what was that, 4 cards are probably Grenadiers, or Grenadiers coming up along with Leopard 2A1. So even the Lukes get in on the action. Oh, the Fed 20 mils are going in, Rang. They're trying to see if they can snipe the A864, all of them together. Let's see, 20 mils should be opening up here. Oh, that Apache's just getting slapped right now. That's a... Can't really say Black Hawk down, but close enough.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Who needs anti-air and you got aircraft anti-air?
Yeah, and also a nice little fire support he has right there. There is the Stinger in the back, and Krot actually using one of his S4s to kind of deal with this. The Puma just tanking that Sidewinder shot like a Chad right there.
Absolute beast.
Absolute beast. Puma best helicopter in game.
Yeah.
Better than Apache Longbow.
I mean, it's really cool because they even like shoot it from the side.
Nice.
Nice.
It's almost like they
anticipated.
They anticipated they were going to be casted, put on a platform here.
Mm-hmm.
This is anti-Eugen propaganda. I won't stand for it.
How could you? How could you?
We only speak well of Eugen here.
Mm-hmm. And all of our dev blogs.
Absolutely. I love their dev blogs. So we do see, before I say anything more spicy, we see Krot is continuing this push here. He's pretty much evicted Greyhound out of his position, Rang. And that's just a big, the opening move for Greyhound is now, it's failed, right? He hasn't been able to take and hold the portion of Delta he wanted to. He's also only has a toehold in Bravo. And it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here as this mech battle will start to really, they'll start to grind each other out.
Yeah, and this is going to be quite good here for Krot because now he can start, flipping the momentum, get a foothold into Charlie here, and by having most of Bravo under control, I mean, you can always try to put some pressure in on the reinforcement line. However, there's like a decent amount of actual defense here of just the rifles and some standoff infantry.
Yeah, and actually the Leopard 2A1 got smacked by the Challenger. They got hit in the side down to 1 HP. The Apache, another one's coming up here to try and push back here as these Fallschirmjäger and the Challenger move up. Though there's not a lot of support here. So even though I wouldn't say there's a ton in front of Greyhound, he just does nothing in support, really.
Oh, the Peace Rhine coming in?
Oh, the Peace Rhine's coming in. Okay, and he has vision of it. So the Leopard goes down, but the Challenger goes down as well to the Maverick. So the Peace Rhine, and just it just feels like he's in full control right now, Ring.
Yeah, he's getting, like, honestly pretty decent trade. He still has a lot of infantry and APC fire support in the front line here of Delta to continue his push. That Flag Panther is going to force that escort to, escort him off the battlefield, so to speak. I guess his main problem is just waiting for another reinforcement column so he can push through into Charlie, because he doesn't have quite enough to... he has enough, but it's just an open field. He doesn't have transports to rush.
He gets to the 4 YPRs he has with the 20 mils right there. He gets 25 mils, excuse me. Get in there. I mean, there really is nothing but this Gepard, a Finnick, an empty Hawk. The Bradley is kind of out of position right there. It just, these two guys, they've traded some jabs, Rang, but a couple of haymakers were just landed by Krot. Oh, but the Kernas is coming in. If anything could change the game, it's that. Oh no, he's dead.
And he didn't even hit anything.
He thought that this was Palestine. They had AA.
Where are the kids with rocks?
Yeah, well, that slingshot just knocked him out the sky.
Yeah.
Look at all these grenadiers Krot has actually all around. He's completely prepared for this.
Yeah.
Up in the north are the 25 mils.
He is ready to go. I also find it funny, Greyhound is really committing to like crazy flank play. He's got 2 Aslavs far north, he's got the commandos down south, going for quite a, well, midday stroll. However, Krot is prepared. He does have decent base defense surrounding his spawn zone to, well, detect these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see that right now as that continues those pushes. It just doesn't. I mean, the base thing is it's kind of funny, right? But I don't see where does it actually go from here, because if you zoom out of the map ring, the amount of just the disparity of units on the field right now is insanely in Krot's favor.
100%, yeah. He just has really good central control over most of these sectors. I mean, Bravo, there's still a few Greyhound units, yeah, but they really can't do anything if Krot was to actually make an advantage. Oh, yeah. East Shrine knocked out, Black Panther?
Yeah, I think it grabbed the flak for the Gepard right there, right?
Oh.
Well, I mean, what else is he going to use it for? There's no real heavy units whatsoever on the map here. We have some standoff infantry in a couple places. We have some riflemen in a couple places. But I don't see anywhere here, at least in the current, as we sit, 12 minutes out of this game so far, where Greyhound looks like he's in position to make a play right now. We do see Krot bring up a 2A1, so I think that's going to go Bravo. Martyr 2 as well. So he's probably going to try and just fully evict Graham from Bravo, I think, Graham.
Yeah. We're seeing all the commandos actually going into Delta to try to get a CV snipe. But once again, Krot has, CV defense in this case, so
yeah,
this little play is going to happen. Yeah, and the Ghost play is happening to the Aslavs. They've been spotted. Krot should now be rare, and some sneaky Marines in his rear.
Yeah, I mean, his commando's 90. Like, it's a cool little play, right? But we talked about earlier, it's set up, almost 8 minutes ago. I think he really dropped those guys, got the position. They're just now getting into maybe where he'd want to snipe a CV. And there's 2 infantry units plus an Apache, which is about to he's going full Warno on him right now.
Yeah. And that's also, it really sucks for him because those few commandos really could have helped with, shoring up the Delta frontline defense. Because those guys may have been enough just to buy the time for actual more reinforcements to be brought on out.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of this feels like it stemmed from the immediate loss of the air power by Greyhound. It's not like, the surface level, it's not a huge thing, but that's a lot of points that were spent in a relatively early phase of the game that brought no value for the most part. And it actually ceded complete air superiority here to Krot. And then the loss of the Kurnas too, that kind of adds into it. And the Challenger 1 actually too, I guess I can't really underrate that. That Charlie 1 just getting absolutely blasted by a Milan 2 into the side. Rip to the Royal Hussars.
R.I.P. indeed. But yeah, it's like losing both those Mirages definitely sucked. And just not being able to bring in enough reinforcements down south into Delta quick enough to, keep up that. But it's also probably moving out the Commando Marines. He sort of just played much more defensive in the village and just try to gain long-range fire superiority.
What's this peace round doing?
What is he? He was going to go for the Eyehawk. He's just going to be Seed. Yeah, he's just Seed now.
Yeah, he's just Seed. I am the Seed now. I was like, where's he going? No,
jeez,
he transitioned into a seaplane.
Yeah, good for him. It's like a Su-25 seaplane. It works.
Su-25 is the best seaplane in the game.
It's true.
Absolutely, we have video evidence to support it. I guess the one thing you say about Greyhound is that he does have the +1 tick because he does control Echo and Foxtrot, so that does place some onus here as we see Krot continue to make some moves here down south, but that does at least put some pressure that Krot has to get another point. but it feels like because the trades have been so in his favor, Rang, that it makes the game seem a little probably the gap bigger than it is, at least on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and Krot just got another Gucci tank sniper for his piece right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It just seems like it's really more of an if, but Ren, Greyhound just kind of collapses because Charlie is now
It's
starting to get pushed in.
Yes, they are trying to hold until relief arrives, but I don't think there's any relief coming.
No. No, and even once again, with these +2 sectors, you don't have to fully capture it. Just hold on to a decent portion, throw in the CV, and, well, in this case, if he can do that, it will give Krot the quite nice little +1.
Yeah, Krot, like, especially pushing into Charlie, makes a lot of sense, because, like you talked about, as long as you neutralize the southern sector there, because it works both ways, you get the +1. You don't even need to go deal with Foxtrot Echo if you don't want to. So that's just a benefit that the position that they're in. I mean, I guess if he wanted to, he could go try and take it, but there's literally no point. He can just completely continue what he's doing, what's got him in this position so far, and it's going to secure him probably a victory at the rate it's continuing.
100%. It always feels like Foxtrot and Echo's like the cursed sector to take. Like if you capture that and your opponent doesn't even contest it, that player usually loses.
Yeah, I've noticed too. Like even when I play, in tournaments, like I'm playing in Blitz Wars tournament, or I was eliminated, but that I find myself sometimes focusing too much on that area in Punch Bowl because I'm like, I don't want to give it up. In reality, like you talked about, it's almost like it's a fake zone. Like you go there and it's trying to trap your units in, whereas down south, the 2-point sectors and then Bravo is really where these games are decided.
Yeah, because Bravo, like, specifically does end up linking into the 2-point sectors, because it does allow you to put some pressure in onto, like, the command line roads, or the supply line roads, into those positions. So if you can fully capture Bravo, it also gives you more areas to attack the +2. In this case, you haven't really seen Krot do that, because he's just been able to roll on through. Honestly, Graham, we can probably take us to a ×2 at 2240.
Okay, ready whenever you are.
And ×2. Because it seems Krot's a little bit slower in regards to, like, his aggression here. I mean, he has complete battlefield supremacy, but Mech Gang is not exactly fast gang.
No, and that's one thing that you say, I think, about when it's mech on mech, it's kind of weird sometimes, like, but I think when two mech decks clash against each other and it's a decisive in one direction, it's impossible to stop that snowball. And it might be just a mech in general, right? But it feels like for mechanized decks, because they have so much stuff on the map. I mean, you zoom out, I said about probably 10 minutes or earlier, Rang. There is so much stuff for Krot on this map right now. You would think he was playing like some single player mission, and he's just calling everything out because he wants to empty the whole deck because it'd be funny. But there's a ton out here right now.
Yeah, it's got like all the grenadiers, the assault troopers out, all those bloody transports, and the 25mm ones, and those guys are pretty damn Gucci indeed.
They are good, yeah.
I'm really like what is Greyhound gonna try and do here? He does have 2 McCurva 2As being brought into Charlie, which can provide some pretty Gucci DQC fire support. Especially actually considering there is no proper tanks here from Krot. But it doesn't really matter. Well, Leopard 2's being brought in. But it doesn't even matter regardless, because we know what's going to come in. It's going to be that goddamn seed plane.
Yes, the seed plane's going to come in. He's going to transition back into an anti-tank plane. Yeah. So he's going to watch it. But I mean, this is I wouldn't say it's critical engagement, but this is kind of critical for Greyhound. Greyhound needs to win here if he has any chance of winning this game, because he's closing in terms of the ticker, right? But the momentum of the units on the map is so against him. This is a very important fight.
Yeah, if he can at least kick Krot out of Charlie and fully capture it, I mean, he still has the 2+2 zones up north, which I do believe gives him the advantage. Oh yeah, there's the decap.
Yeah, I saw the CV come in a little earlier. I was kind of just waiting until it comes in. But I mean, just look, we have four more stack. I think that's Grenadiers coming in as well, reinforcements. There's no decisive pick here. I mean, I see a mortar, nice little mortar coming for Greyhound for some smoke play, maybe more infantry reinforcements. Because they're both mechanized, Ring, and so now they're just going to end up throwing their entire, battalions at each other in this little area of Charlie.
Yeah, and it's just going to be an absolute meat grinder. But for Krot, of course, he does have the town position, which is quite a nice defensive bonus. And there's
It
no
also,
off-map.
right, yeah, he does. There's no off map, which is, hey, SCG fans, like, where is my 152 millimeter off map to change the game right now? I personally am a fan of the KV1 off map because I drop that off map and then the KV1 goes in hot behind it.
It does.
A
Like a
phase
1-2
off
punch.
map for the win, boys. I know I haven't been in SC2 a while, but all the SC2 people know A phase off map is how you get dubs. But if you're Greyhound, there is no A phase off map.
No. Or B phase or any off map. He's just
Look at
going
all
to
these
rely on
planes.
the
Oh my,
air
all
phase.
these planes, all these seed planes.
Oh god.
It's a strike package.
And now we're starting to get a very kinetic battle here as we're seeing Greyhound just throwing the rifleman, but just the terrain advantage is really not his, and he just does not have enough concentrated firepower to push.
Right. Well, because at this point he's stuck to taking, yes, he's got some Merkavas, right? He's got infantry, he's got riflemen, but he's lost the air engagement for the most part. Losing the one Kurnas early hurts a lot in situations like this. He has the mortar, but there's no other fire support really. So Krot being dug into this town, it just makes the trade so much better for him.
Yeah, and that one Kurnas came in, didn't even kill anything. I think he's trying to go for the CV snipe.
CV snipe.
But it just kind of shaken up some Dutch transports for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it really did. Which is also like a negative, like you say, when you try and go for the snipes with your expensive units at the Kurnas right there. I think he was really hoping to maybe stop the momentum that he felt like the game was going, the direction it was going into. I mean, some nice cleanup here by these F-16s, diving in here, getting a lot of good kills. But it feels like it's too little, too late, right? Especially with the ground offensive now starting to really stall.
Yeah, Greyhound has taken some pretty massive casualties here. It really feels like he's brought up his units a little bit in piecemeal. He does have constant reinforcements, but he didn't manage to push them all in one big go, especially against such a concentrated town position. And yeah, we got the backup of the 25mm APCs to provide some fire support.
Yeah, you see him bringing that up right there. Oh, the Raven, he says, I'm the real seed plane. I'm tired of this slander.
Mm-hmm. And there we go. That is the GG, rightfully so. I mean, it's like you said earlier, like, just how much in the mech and mech it can just completely snowball out of control.
Yeah, that's one thing. When you talk about the game and you kind of watch how it goes, we've all, between us casting and playing, the viewers watching, Wargame itself can be a very snowbally game, right? Almost all of Eugen's properties are that way. But sometimes I feel like when it's mechanized, when there's mechanized involved, they just have so much stuff. And it's so much cheap stuff a lot of the time, too. So it's flooding the field constantly. And when you take such a lopsided engagement, even when you're two of the best players at the game, it just shows you what those decks really can do when they're rolling.
Yeah, because it's also like very mirror matchy between mech on mech. So, and because of there's not really like a comeback mechanic in the Eugene games, you get the exact same amount of points. Right. If you're playing a more regular deck, where you may have like a super unit which can out-tech, so to speak, a mechanized player, you just get screwed over because you're having to bring up your Leopard 2s to fight against M1 IPs, and that's a one-on-one matchup. Yeah,
I think it's a really good point. There is nothing like, it's not like you're playing Entente right there, right? Just regular Entente. We're not even going to talk about Entente mech. And you don't have, your M91s. It's not like you can maybe call one of those out and hope that maybe his ability to leverage that in the game could bring him back into it, right? There's just none of that's available to you as a mechanized deck because you kind of mirror each other. Like you said, it's a mirror matchup. So like mirror incomes almost in a way in ST2. And it just makes it so when you get behind, it's really, really hard to get back in. I say this a lot about SC2 with Maverick on Maverick, that the Maverick player that's winning from A into B, it almost always snowballs into a massive victory because for one person, the income's reinforcing success. For the other person, it's reinforcing defeat. And that's just, in the Eugen games, that's a recipe for disaster.
Indeed. Yeah, I think the true lesson here in this match, never go Foxtrot Echo. Just pretend it doesn't even exist.
No, Rang. The true lesson here was he should have played Entente mech.
Versus Fin Pole Motorize.
I'm a very pro Moto player. Moto Gang, unite.
Moto Gang is probably the most fun.
I may lose a lot in it, but Moto Gang, rise up.
Indeed. But on a note, we'll leave it, So, thank you very much for watching, guys. And as usual, please just take it easy.